Hello everybody and welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox and I'm here today to share with you a tutorial on how to make this super fun spin card. So you can see here we're spinning it, excuse me, and we're changing the image that appears in this adorable window. So that mechanism comes from the Give It A Whirl dies. These are awesome. They're in the annual catalog. And here you can see all of the bits and pieces. Now this card, which is one of the ones in my September Stamp of the Month club, and our Stamp of the Month, of course, is the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. I love this one so very much. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this card. And for those of you in my club, you've got a kit in your class package with the Just Jade background, and that's what we're going to use to create this awesome fun card. I love interactive cards. They're so much fun. Okay, so I have gone ahead, for those of you in the club, and I've got all the pieces from the Give It A Whirl die set already pre-cut for you. So from that set, what we're going to need is this here cut out of the crumb cake. And let me just show you exactly what pieces those are from the dies. So if you were to have this die set in your collection, which I think everyone should have, here's the piece that's going to be the basic front of the card. That's going to give you the stitching line and this little nook here. And then we have options for the window. So I've chosen the pie shape, which is here for this card design, but you also have other ones. You've got the rectangle, you've got a circle and a heart, and all of those can be used in the same way as we're going to do this card today. And then of course later on you'll see this piece here, which is the spin wheel itself. Okay, let's get back to this card. So I've got a Just Jade background which measures 8.5 by 5.5 and it's scored at 4 1/4. We've got a crumb cake piece here which was cut with those Give It A Whirl dies that I just showed you. We of course have an insert for our card, so that's basic white 4 by 5 1/4. We've got the little spin wheel, and we've got a strip of designer series paper, Just Jade, a couple little strips of bumblebee, an adorable heart in polished pink, also cut from the Give It A Whirl dies, and then we're going to need one little brad. So this brad here is from the round and square brads, and look at all of those, and that's with a whole bunch already taken out, so you get a ton in here. 200 brads in the round and square brads, both in black and white, square and circle. They're fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to just for now put all these pieces aside. All I want to have in front of me is the crumb cake, the wheel, and our two little bumblebee pieces, and the rest I'm just going to set aside for a moment. Okay, so to create this card, I've used Just Jade ink, crumb cake, soft suede, and early espresso. So I'm going to start with the early espresso, and as you can see on my original card, we've got images just stamped randomly among the crumb cake. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So for this card, I'm using the coffee mug, the cookie, the chocolates, and that adorable little star that I can't get enough of. So let's start with the coffee cup, and we're just going to stamp them randomly. We're just, making a pattern. Actually, that's all I'm going to do for coffee. And then I'll use the chocolate. Actually, I'm going to start with the cookies next. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, and then I'll do the chocolates. And we're just creating our own background paper, which is so much fun to do. Okay, and there's a little hole here, but I think we'll just fill that with some stars. So now I'm going to use our little adorable little star, and you can see that's just going to fill in some of these spaces. Isn't it cute? I just love this little stamp. And I'm just going to put a couple extra ones in that just to fill that gap in. Maybe one more here. And then just sit back and look at it and see if you're happy with the way it looks. And when you are, then that's it. It's done. All right, so that piece we're going to set aside now. And then on this wheel, so I want you to see if you can zoom in. I hope my camera can see it. But it's got 3 little embossed sections on this wheel, pie-shaped embossed. Now that is where you're going to stamp your image to ensure that when it spins, it's going to show up in that window. Okay, so using the same images we just stamped on that crumb cake, I'm going to stamp one in each of these window sections. So we've got the coffee mug, cookie, and where did my chocolates go? There they are. Okay, make sure that you're turning the windows too, because if you just stamp them all this way, then they're not going to come through the window properly. Okay, now since we have the early espresso ink already out and ready to go here, I'm going to then stamp my sentiments onto the bumblebee. So I've got a day without, which is going to go on this small little strip here. And then here it says, is like, just kidding, I have no idea. So very fitting on this card, because no matter what you spin the wheel to, it can be a day without coffee, a day without cookies, a day without chocolate. So really, it's a super fun card that can be tailored to anybody. All right, so there we've got all of our early espresso stamping done. I'm going to set those two aside. And now we're just going to use the other stamps, the two-step stamp part, so the part that's going to fill in these images that we've done. So that's where these other colors are going to come in, and I'll start with the soft suede. That's what we're going to use for the chocolates. Okay, and this stamp set is awesome because it's easy to line up, but it doesn't have to be exact. It looks really fun even if it's a little off like that one is. Okay, and I've got crumb cake, which we'll use for the cookie. Voila, so fun. Okay, and then Just Jade we're going to use for the coffee mug, and that's going to tie in with the card base that we chose for this card. I love that Stampin' Up's products all coordinate the colors throughout, so it makes it super easy for product coordination and designing a snap. Okay, so here we go. We've got all of these pieces stamped and ready. Now we're going to put it together. So we're going to grab the little brad and we're going to line up. See this hole here that the Take a Whirl cut? Also cut a hole here. So we're going to line up the holes just like that. It doesn't matter what's showing in the window at this point. Put your brad through the hole. Oops. Holding it in place, and then you're just going to spread the prongs on the back. I've got ink on my finger already. Okay, and then you can see that that's going to spin. Just like that. Okay, so our mechanism's working. That's what the notch is for, so you can grab the wheel there. So we're going to pull in our card base. I'm just going to close this ink pad before I get more ink everywhere. So we're going to fold the card on the score line in half. And then we're going to make it a nice clean fold using our bone folder. Okay. Now let me just grab some Stampin' Dimensionals here. Now we want to be able to spin this nice and easily. And so to do that, it's going to be easier if it's off the card a bit. So we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to do that. So one in each corner. And then one right below the mechanism itself. So we can peel those off. just like this. And just center that on the card so that it's even top and bottom and side to side. Okay, so there we go, and we're just going to test that it's still working. Oh my goodness, okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so now we got that working. We're just going to attach our sentiments. So again, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put one on either edge of the larger sentiment piece here. Okay. And then we're just going to place that over top of the brad. I don't want the brad to show. So just sort of try and center it over the window piece here. That. And then you can see my dimensionals are getting a little bit down, but I don't waste any of it. So I'm going to cut off a piece of the edging here and use that too. I can just post that off. And that's going to go here. Now you want to be very careful that your dimensionals do not go onto the white paper, because then you will not be able to turn the window. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll take our Just Jade strip of designer series paper, and this is from the 2020-2022 in color 6x6 pack. And then what we're going to do is just going to slide. That is very crooked, Denise. Okay, let's see if we can. There we go. Just move it over just a smidge. Okay, then we're just going to slide this piece underneath. So that is layered below that. Like so. Push it that way a bit. There we go. So we've got that attached. And the last thing that we want to do to the front of the card is to attach this cute little heart. Oh, there's one more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the dimensional here on the yellow and then stick my heart to it. That way I'm ensuring I'm getting the adhesive in the right spot. Okay, and of course, let's add our insert to the inside of our card. Like so. And there we go. There is our fun spinner card. Like I said, you can just look how fun that is. I love a good interactive card, and these Give It A Whirl dies make it so easy. So thank you all for watching the video, or my tutorial today. The feature was the Nothing's Better Than stamp set, and of course the Give It A Whirl, not Take a Whirl, the Give It A Whirl dies. Both of these can be found in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products I've shown here today, visit my website, createwithbirdsnest.ca. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a fabulous creative day.